Last year, 2025, was a record year. South Korea became one of the largest global cosmetic exporter in the world, just behind France.
That I could never imagine 20 years ago.
So it hit $11.4 billion in the market, which is extraordinary. In the last 20 years, it's one of the fastest transformations any industry has ever made.
Yep, semiconductor and K-beauty.
And if we kind of look back into the transformation and history of where K-beauty started, then we can get a little hint of where it can be going next.
You know, I was there. I lived through the whole thing. I started as a prestige imported beauty brand manager, and then I totally remember everything, how K-beauty flipped the whole thing. So it's really fun to talk about it.
So it's so nice to have you here today and to discuss the history of K-beauty, because I feel like it's the perfect topic. You know, you lived through it, I lived through some of it. I think a lot of global consumers actually are not very aware of. So I brought this topic today specifically to educate and talk about the transformation that happened within the K-beauty industry over the last 15 to 20 years. Welcome to the K-Edit, where we decode K-beauty through culture, context, and strategy. I'm Helen, Editor-in-Chief at the K-Edit, with over a decade of global beauty experience in New York City at companies such as Estee Lauder, L'Oreal, Shiseido, and Coty. And today with me is Sarah. So Sarah, could you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
Hi, I'm Sarah. I worked for 20 years in beauty industry, 10 years working as a brand manager for brands like Stila, Origins, Good Skin Labs at Estee Lauder companies, and another 10 years for K-beauty brands. So I worked to build brand and product development and marketing and distribution all throughout the services. Today, many global consumers know K-beauty as glass skin, but they don't know all this 20 years ago what was happening. They cannot imagine, I think.
Right. 20 years ago, it started quite humble, and it began in these shops that were called road shops. So they were single branded kind of retail shops, you know, along the streets of Myeongdong or anywhere that's kind of like a busy, popular street.
Do you remember the brand names back then?
Well, there were brands like Misha, The Face Shop, Etude,
Nature Republic, It's Skin, all these mass brands.
Yeah, and back in the day, they were just like all single shops along the streets. Now there's big retail brands like Olive Young that carry, you know, hundreds to thousands of brands in one store.
Yeah, have you been to the store in Apgujeong lately?
Yes, I have. It's huge.
Every week there's new things coming in, changing so fast.
And I think what's interesting, many people are aware of, is that back in the day, K-beauty brands, these road shop brands, were not necessarily the most preferred brands by local Koreans. Local Koreans really aspired to shop at more of the foreign brands that were sold in big department stores, such as, you know, Chanel, Lancome, Estee Lauder.
Yeah, as a brand manager, I remember every year 40% growth. So remember, every time we leave the country, friends are asking like, could you buy brown bottle from Estee Lauder?
Right.
But now it's so different, right?
Yeah.
It's K-beauty everywhere.
And I think back then, you know, K-beauty brands were practical choice, but they were not very aspirational. Even if I think back at the products, it was just that the innovation and the quality of the products just didn't really stand, you know, to par with these foreign products and brands.
And also branding. All these road shop mass brands, they were very much alike. Going to Myeongdong as a market visit with visitors from Estee Lauder, New York. And all these brands, they look pretty much the same. Once you go in, there's a section for men, skincare, hair, makeup, and Korean traditional hanbang was all the same. I guess Korea K-beauty caught up quite late, I think.
Yeah. And in those 20 years, the industry transformed really fast because Korea has been quietly manufacturing for these global beauty brands. So the research, the development, the quality of the products, the innovations, the ingredients, everything kind of all caught up at once together. Added that with the speed and affordability that K-beauty really has as a pro, it allowed Korean cosmetics to become the second largest global exporter in the world. So even back then with the original BB cream, when it first came out, it was a product that encompassed, a foundation, base, and SPF. So it was really like these multi-use products. And then the cushion compact, that's super popular, easy application. So K-beauty is always kind of pushing the innovations, like how do we make this with better ingredients? How do we make this with better usage and things like that?
I requested New York to come up with our version of BB cream. And it's just not Lauder brands. There were L'Oreal, Dior, Lancome. They all launched BB cream next to each other.
And I don't think BB cream did that well in the US market, at least for a pretty long time until K-beauty kind of officially came in and became popular.
I don't think many people know about the origin of BB cream,
So BB cream actually comes from Germany. It was one of those products that Korean innovation took and kind of made it their own and ran with it. That was a really interesting history.
Everybody just had to have BB cream. Hanskin, remember?
Yeah,
Hanskin BB
yeah.
cream, it started the whole thing.
Yeah, oh my God, I loved that BB cream.
Yeah, and BB is back now.
I think it's starting to also trend in the US as K-beauty got bigger and bigger. When I first went to New York in 2014, I could not find BB cream on the, at like Sephora shelves. It was really hard to find. And then the quality was just not as good. The colors were very limited because it was not really a thing in the States. But fast forward to today, now we'll see BB creams on the shelves. We even see entire K-beauty retail shops now in America.
Remember CC cream, all this new category development, and then cushion packed followed. When I think back, it's just the innovation, the new ideas. I keep talking about Lauder, but Estée Lauder wanted to set up a Korean innovation center.
So now a lot of the road shop actually closed, and it's now taken over with big retail shops like Olive Young that carry, hundreds of thousands of brands in each store.
I'm the one who introduced Olive Young to Estée Lauder company. And at the time, there were not that many shops. And when we entered Olive Young, it was like red carpet lay down, like we have this prestige brand. But now I don't think I can never be able to catch a meeting with them. It's just, they're like, it's crazy.
How things have changed over time.
So how Koreans see about this?
So I think it's because they live inside the fast trending cycles and trends. It's not necessarily something that's like new to them, except that now it has the global attention. For a lot of local Koreans, we're really used to the fast changing trends, the brands, the products, everything just moving at a speed of light. A lot of the Korean consumers are very savvy, so they can read ingredients like looking at a price tag.
Exactly.
And for the local Koreans living inside Korea, sometimes the speed can be a little bit overwhelming because a lot of the times the products and brands are just constantly changing at these stores. So when you go into these stores, it's really hard to kind of filter out the noise from the sound. Which products are actually good and which brands can I actually trust? It's a little bit hard to figure that out.
Yes, the innovation is there, the speed, Koreans, the balli-balli culture, everything all mixed together now. It's just overwhelming for me too. Yeah.
Right. So I started working in cosmetics in 2014 in New York City. And when I started my career working on Maybelline, which is a brand of L'Oreal's, obviously K-beauty was not a thing.
When I visited New York back then, I remember that too. There were not that many K-beauty brand stores. Only Amore Pacific, I think, in New York.
There was a really big face shop store. Then now there's a really big Innisfree. Then there were these like smaller kind of shop-in-shops that had like a mix of bunch of different K-beauty brands, but most people shopping in those shops would be like people like me who are like Korean Americans or Asian Americans. It was not like, thing that everybody knew in the city.
People couldn't understand this 10-step regimen.
Yeah.
So I had so much hard time explaining what it is. Lotion and cream, they're both moisturizer category, but in Korea, you use lotion and then cream. So it was so difficult to arrange this product usage order, even online. When we developed the website, they both belong to moisturizer category, but in Korea it's lotion first. So explaining that to headquarter office was just so difficult, I remember. But now it's just only 10 years later.
Yeah.
You've seen the Pasadena Olive Young stores, that lines?
Yeah.
It's like BTS concert, right?
It's pretty wild. And sometimes I cannot believe how much global attention is, in our country's cosmetic industry. It's every day, I think it's all over the news. There's so many people now in the cosmetic industry in Korea. I think now if I go out and socialize, at least 1 out of 5 person is like in the industry, which I find really fascinating. It's fun to be a part of this really exciting change that's happening right in front of our doorsteps.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Gen Zs, they enjoy K-beauty. And these days, Korean indie brands, they do not launch in Korea and they just go straight to US market first.
Yeah, that's
Korea is
definitely
just
a
so
trend.
saturated and it's not easy to
Right,
get in.
right.
So yeah, a lot had changed. It's a good thing.
So I feel like, today the market is so saturated. There are so many brands and products. I think as a consumer, you're a little bit overwhelmed. And that's kind of the main reason why we actually created the K-Edit. Is because we didn't feel like the consumer necessarily needs another brand or product, but we felt like what was really needed was perspective. To take a step back and to see from afar what really matters versus the things, that we can kind of filter away.
Yep, perspective that is.
So that's a wrap for today's episode. The future of beauty is being written in Seoul, and it takes perspective to fully digest it. And that's what we're here for. So thank you so much for joining today, Sarah.
Thank you for the invitation. It was so much fun today talking about the history of K-beauty.
It was.
Thank you.
It was really a throwback.
And I think people have a lot to say about this too. So please share your thoughts.
Thank you for watching the K-Edit. Please subscribe and stay tuned for our next episode. Thank you. Bye.